The best time of year is here. First thing I'm gonna do is check the wind. And then I'm gonna book it to this bean field to the back. As you guys know, they didn't plant last year. There's deer walking right, like 100 yards from me right now. That's an east wind, kind of a southeast wind. I honestly don't plan on shooting anything tonight, but I brought my bow because you never leave your bow if you don't have to. Now I'm not sure what to do. I got in here later than I was hoping to. Maybe I'll sneak up and shoot this doe. Oh, okay. We're gonna get moving though. You guys, it is officially deer season in Missouri. It is September 22nd, so the season's been open for a little over a week, but as you guys know, I was in Wyoming. It's about 6:45, and I brought my bow, but I pretty much am just using tonight as an observation sit. But on my walk-in, I saw some does, so I marked that spot on Onyx, and I may do some doe hunting if I'm not getting on any bucks. But last year, I was hoping this was supposed to be beans planted, and it wasn't. They didn't plant anything. It was just those wildflowers, which made it really, really tough because the deer could just hide and feed in it all year round. So crops are a good thing. So I'm pretty much just sitting over the beans tonight. This is a big field, like hundreds of acres. So I'm just gonna sit here, do some glassing, and hopefully a good buck steps out, and then I can maybe make a move on him sometime this week. I'm really excited. The weather is awesome, super awesome. Temps are getting really cold, like 30s and 40s at night. So I think the deer are gonna be moving, and I'm hoping to capitalize on that. So honestly, that's about all I got to say right now, other than I'm just so pumped. Like, I have like the jitters, like as if I shot something, but that's just how excited I am. So I'm gonna kind of tuck myself in here, and hopefully some deer step out, and we can get set up on them. north to south, meaning it's blowing straight into this field. And I just saw a buck on the opposite side. It looked like a possible 2-year-old, but a big 2-year-old. I only got a really quick glimpse at him, and I'm not sure if I even got him on film, but I just had a doe come out and bust. Then I checked the wind, and sure enough, it's going right that way, so I'm getting out of here. I'm familiar enough with this piece that if I can find one buck out there, good chance this time of year there's more than one. And I had 2 megas out there last year in that same spot. I just couldn't get them to cooperate in daylight, but with these colder temperatures, I think they might pop out early, at least a little bit earlier in the evening. So, before I spook anything else out, I'm gonna get out of here. Really, really good first observation sit. Alright, so today is September 25th. I hope you can hear me because I have a different mic today. But it is about 7:30 in the morning. And I don't typically do morning sits for early season. Mostly because a lot of the deer are back into their beds well before daylight. However, this whole week is super hot during the day. Oh, I have a deer coming. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I see a buck. that caught me way off guard. But I'm finally feeling like I'm in them. I'm in the right spot. Or at least right general area. I really don't even know what I was saying. But this morning it was about 50 degrees. And during the days it's like 80. So I think they were just feeling good, running around. But there's a buck in here, and to be honest, I'm gonna have to rewatch the footage and try to get a better look at him. But I just saw a rack, and so I was just getting ready. But I really couldn't tell how big he was, just because he went by so quick. And I'm honestly shocked none of them blew at me. But of course, the big buck is the one that went behind me, and that's where my wind is at. Which kind of stinks, because when I came in here this morning, I was prepping for a north wind. So it should have been blowing that way. When they came through, it was like a southwest wind, so it was going back this way. I feel good about being in this area. I really like this field. It's shrubby and brushy, and there's just trails all through it, and you can see where they're moving. Food and bedding all in one spot, so you really can't get much better than that. But I'm gonna sit here till probably, I don't know, like 10:30, till it starts getting hot, and then I'm gonna get down and then potentially hang a set back out in that bean field. I saw a buck there the first night that I sat, but he was just so far, I couldn't really tell what he was, so I'm gonna see if maybe a buck or two will pop out over there. But that was worth getting up at 3 a.m. because my adrenaline was just like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but that was exciting and totally worth it. ducks were counted in a speed field. I was just sitting a little too far away, and I didn't have any camera light left to shoot. So today I decided to move it closer to the trail that all the deer came out on. And I'm pretty sure it's the one that I got almost parallel to me. Got a really strong southwest wind tonight, which is what I want. I'm just hoping that they do what they did last night. If that's the case, I should have a shot.
Alright, last night was probably the biggest heartbreaker of my entire hunting career. Literally sat in the stand and cried. And then I cried some more later, and then I cried to everyone on Instagram. So I just had the biggest buck I've ever had a chance to hunt under my stand at 10 yards. And I know the footage really sucks because it was so dark, and then I didn't realize that limb was in the way, but so that deer I have history with, and I didn't realize that until last night. That's the buck that I got excited over having under me that one morning last year in September, working a scrape at like 4:30 in the morning. And I only saw him because I had a headlamp on. So I didn't get him on film, and saw him the other night. Wasn't able to get him on film because he's just been right at dark. It's like, and I mean like no more camera light dark, is when he's coming out. So I decided to move in the woods, and that's where I was yesterday. I'm trying to cut him off a little bit to have a little more daylight. And you know, it was a coin toss because he's not necessarily regular. I've only seen him twice now, and I've sat there a few times just to see. So he's consistent, but not. So anyway, I messed everything up. Like, everything was my fault. It wasn't the saddle's fault. It wasn't anything else's fault but mine, obviously. I just didn't realize he was going to come in behind me, which I now know there's a scrape over there, which is what he was heading towards. But I didn't realize that when I hung the set. So basically what happened was there's that limb behind my back, and he came in, and I wasn't able to turn around quickly enough after getting all the cameras turned on because the wind was like very calm, so there wasn't a lot of noise to like cover me moving. So I was hitting like little twigs and leaves with my bow, and he just like knew something was up. But I know the video is really hard to tell, but he is a big deer. I really don't want to guess on the score because he's super non-typical. But I'd say he's no less than 145, 150, and I think he's bigger than that. So for public land, I am just so jacked, but I'm like heartbroken because I feel like I blew my one chance that I had at this deer up close. It's my last day in Missouri until a few weeks from now, so I'm hoping I can make it happen. I hope he comes back. I don't think he got my wind, so I might move trees. So I'm gonna take a look here at Onyx, and this might get a little long-winded, but I know a lot of you are new to hunting, or maybe you just want to see my game plan on how I even found him in the first place, and then what I plan on doing tonight. So let's take a look. Okay, y'all, so I apologize if the video quality is not great. Just filming directly on my screen, so it's gonna look a little fuzzy and whatever. So this is what I have to work with. Basically over just the last few days I've been putting pins. Everything in black is from this year. I color code my pins so each color represents a different year except for this one, but I'll get into that. And then you can also ignore these two lines. These are from something else. So the other night, initially I had sat in this tree because the wind has primarily been southwest, so blowing out this way, but it's been a little shifty, and I mostly just use this sit as an observation sit because I can look into the woods a little bit. It's kind of thick right here, so not super far, but like I can see this. But I was also mostly just trying to see where in this field they were trying to come out. And this field extends for a long ways, so I can see super far. And what they did was come out on this trail, I believe. Yes, this trail. So they came out on this trail, and I had thought that was roughly 40 yards, but I think it's closer to like 50 from that tree that I was in. And when they came by, it was already super dark. You know, I didn't have camera light left, and they all just kind of worked out into this field. So it was does, and then the buck, the big buck, and then his buddy, which is also another really good buck. So they all pretty much went straight out. And then the second sit that I did was, I was trying to get closer to this trail, but the wind's still going this way, so I moved to this tree. And what happened was I didn't see anything except the one buck that I'm trying to shoot. And this was his trail right here. So this is what he did. And what I didn't realize is there's a scrape right here, somewhere in this little general area. So I think what he was doing, instead of taking this trail, he's now focusing on scraping, and he wasn't with his buddy. So that tells me that they're starting to slowly break apart and kind of get into their fall routine. So realistically, I think this scrape is my saving grace, because he would have no other reason to go over here if he wasn't interested in hitting that before going out into the fields, which is the only reason I think I may be able to hopefully pick the correct tree to get in to shoot him. Otherwise, you just never know. These are all trails, so you just never know which trail they take. So that being said, I was in this tree, and he didn't spook crazy bad. He heard me, but I don't think he ever winded me. I think it was kind of, the wind's been swirling like right at dark, so it may not have been going exactly this direction when he passed through, which is to my benefit, obviously. But I'm sitting here looking, and I'm debating if I want to move trees or just stay in this tree. But I think I can shoot him from this tree, but it's just kind of awkward. So I think maybe putting a stand, well, my saddle set over here somewhere, because they have been consistently coming from somewhere this direction. So I think he's bedding down here somewhere, maybe even off screen farther. And he's kind of just working. What you can't see, I'm not sure why I don't have my topo turned on, but what you can't see is this is a draw, kind of, it's like a dip. This is water, so it kind of like floods a lot, and this is like a little floodplain right here. So this dips down, so I'm up on the hill, and he's been coming across this because there's no water in it currently. So I think if I move kind of back, but the wind's still supposed to be going this way, so if I move over here, I feel like I might have a better shot of him getting in front of me instead of behind me, because over here I was planning for this trail, not this one. So I don't know, it's a risk no matter what I do, really. So he could totally throw me for a loop and not even come out, or maybe cut down this trail and I'll never see him, and I don't know. But I'm stuck between these two spots, and the biggest thing is this is so like swampy that a lot of these trees are like willow trees, so you can't even really get in them, or they're like this big and can't get in them anyway. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit here and think about it, and I'll probably decide when I get out there and see if I can even get over here in a tree. Otherwise I'll just leave my stuff and hope for the best, guys. But yeah, that was a heartbreaker. That's the biggest deer I've ever seen on public, and biggest deer I've ever had in bow range. So, you know, it was a really awesome experience, but I definitely cried afterwards because I'm just hoping I didn't blow my one shot at it. But I've been holding out as best I can for a mature buck, and he is absolutely mature, and I have history with him, which is super cool. So now I think he needs a name, but drop in the comments what you think I should name him. He's a freak, that's for sure. So anyway, I'll check back in when I get out there tonight, see what I can figure out.